All right, guys, so I've started the recording. So let me first set the agenda for today's session. So today, as I already talked about, I'm going to brief you guys on the topics which we are going to cover in this course. Uh, Now, topics are related to automation testing as well as framework and all the surrounding things which would make you find a job. So I didn't the whole and sole purpose of having this certification course or this Selenium course is so that you can upskill yourself and you become more relevant in the market to find a job. Now, you could be maybe don't know anything about testing. Maybe you are already working somewhere, maybe in some manual space and trying to move to automation, or you're already working in the automation space and you want to upskill more. Now, I try to the way we have structured this course is to cater to all these different kind of people, different groups. So let me first start with the what we are going to have, whatever topics we are having in this curriculum, and then I'm going to give a small demo of the framework. Framework is nothing but the ultimate goal for us to learn. That is something which is required for you to learn. Only then you can actually say you are an automation tester. So all of this which what we are learning is actually learning towards a common goal, which is learning how to create and work on a framework. Now let me start with the first topic which you have here, right? So I think if you have no understanding about testing, maybe I can talk about testing also maybe in subsequent sessions. But now, right now, as of now, because I don't know you guys, I am assuming that you already are aware about testing concepts in general. What is testing? I'm not going to talk about testing. In this session, I'm just going to walk you through on the topics and their corresponding relationship between each other. So first thing you see here is HTML basics. Now, why we need HTML basics is because what we are targeting here, what we are trying to do here is to automate a web browser, right? Now, when I talk about web browser, it is nothing but an HTML running inside a desktop application called as Chrome. Chrome is a desktop application which actually is installed on your system, inside which there is a document called as HTML, which comes from the server, isn't it? Now, that HTML is something with which Selenium interacts. Selenium is nothing but a library. It interacts, it has the only power it has within itself is to interact with the HTML. So we need to train Selenium to interact with HTML. And you will not be able to interact with HTML if you don't understand HTML. So HTML is understanding, the basic understanding of HTML is what you essentially need before you can even start doing something with Selenium. Now, this HTML basics nothing to do with your web development. This is nothing to do with that. It is just plain vanilla HTML basics on what are tags, attributes, document object model, how to inspect elements, etc., etc., etc. They're just basic, simple, plain HTML basics. Now, the next is testing basics. Now, again, what we're trying to do here is this course is all about automation testing. What we're trying to do here is automating the testing process. Now, if you don't understand what is testing, you cannot possibly automate it, because automation is built on top of testing. Automation, rather I should say, automation testing is built on top of testing fundamentals. So you need to know what we are doing and what are the base understanding fundamentals of testing. So that is what I'll try to cover here. Of course, not in today's session. This session is only a demo where I'm walking you through the topics and giving some backgrounds about it. But as a part of this curriculum, you have to have these two very foundational fundamental basics. First is HTML basics and then testing basics. Now, in testing basics, we have a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to talk about all manual testing concepts. Rather, I'm going to talk about testing in general, what happens in an actual real-time projects, how testing happens there, and what is the role of automation testing in those projects. So I'll try to give you guys a perspective under these topics. Now, once we are done with these two, then we have to start with Selenium basics. Now, there is one more thing which right now is a bit missing here, which is kind of given. but I will raise that as well. That is Java basics, because Selenium, as I said, is not a, a tool. It's not a tool. It is a library written in Java, or rather in different programming languages. It is a software, it is a tool, it is a library. It's not even a tool. Sorry to say that. It is just a simple plain library which can interact with HTML. Now that library is written in multiple languages. The base language is Java, but there are other languages also, vis-a-vis Python, JavaScript, C Sharp script, PHP. All of these languages could be used with Selenium. But for this specific course, we are going to do that with Java. So our target is to create a framework or to learn Selenium using base as Java. Now, you could argue why with Java. My simple explanation for that would be that Java is the software, Java is the language which is vastly being used for nearly all the automation projects. So if you really want to have your career in automation testing, you really have to start with Selenium with Java. Now, having said that, there are projects with Python and Selenium combination as well, or JavaScript Selenium combination as well, but the quantity, the volume of such projects are quite less, and less volume simply means less job opportunities. So you need to maximize your chances. To maximize your chances, you need to learn it with Java. As simple as that. Period. Okay, so that's the reason we are doing Java. So when we say Java, we don't have to learn the Java frameworks like Struts, Spring, Hibernate. We don't have to do that. All we have to learn is Java core, or core Java, right? Now core Java includes fundamentals of Java, which is your simple class, objects, methods, constructors, if else, for loops, decision making, collections, right? And the logic. Now logic is independent of language, any language, right? So all of this along with logic development is what we're going to do as a part of Java basics, right? Until and unless you understand Java basics, there is no it's not possible to learn Selenium basics, right? Because Selenium, as I said, is not a tool to learn. It is a library which runs on top of Java. All right. Once we are done with HTML basics, testing basics, and Java basics, we are going to start with Selenium basics. Now in Selenium basics, there are a lot of Selenium, fundamentals which we need to learn about: WebDriver, Chrome driver, different kinds of browser which are available, how to do navigations, how to find elements to perform operations. Because essentially what Selenium does is, as I said in the beginning, it is a tool, or it is a library which interacts with HTML. When I say interact, that means it try to simulate the user interactions. As if for example, what you do in a web browser is, let's say you go to web browser, you open a page, and then you perform something. When I say perform, you click, you enter some text, you drag and drop, right? All of this is user interactions. Now, what we are trying to do with automation testing is, instead of this being done by a human, a Selenium script, we are trying to create a Selenium script, which is capable of simulating the exact steps as if a human is doing that. A human is actually performing those operations. It's just simulation. Now, to simulate that, we need to know where to perform what operation. For example, if I want to click on a button, I need to first find out the button, and then I want to perform operation on it. So those things we need to educate our Selenium script, and that is what we do using methods, calls, or mechanisms called as element finding and perform operations before you simulate a user interaction. Because when you do it, you know exactly where to, because your eyes tells you to click on this button. That means you're able to find the button and click on it. But if Selenium were to do it, then Selenium, we need to tell Selenium where is that button, that is finding the element finding, and perform the operations. So these are two important aspects of any Selenium operation. You need to find it, and then you need to perform it, and it works sequentially. Uh, for example, if you are aware of testing, we have steps: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Every step you are doing something with that, with the application. Whatever you're doing, that step has to be converted to a working code or working automation script code. That is the whole job or task of an automation test engineer, which is what you are trying to become. Now, after Selenium Basics, we have Selenium Locator Strategy. By the way, guys, if you have any question, you can stop me in between, ask questions. That is the whole and sole purpose of this session. If you're not comfortable asking, you can put your question on the chat. You can ask in Hindi or you can ask in English. Try not to ask in Marathi. I'm not very familiar with that. So language is no bar. You can actually put your question on the chat, or you can simply unmute yourself and interrupt me and ask. All right, now next is Selenium Locator Strategies, where we need to find out how many different ways of finding the locators, how to find the locators, their XPaths, how are different kinds of XPaths available to get to that location where you want to perform the operation inside the page. Now, if you have some understanding, maybe I'm making some sense, but if have no idea what automation testing or HTML is or XPath is, then bear with me. That's the reason we are having this session, right? Because you don't know it. So that's fine. We are going to cover all of this. Now, Selenium complex operations are also, there is a topic called as complex Selenium operations. Now, the thing which we cover here is complex interactions. As I told you already, Selenium is all about performing operations in the HTML. Now, operations could be very simple or could be complex. Simple operations are click, send text, set text in a field or something, or select a drop down, something like that. But complex Selenium operations could be drag and drop. They might seem simple to you because you would say they are not complex. I just have to drag and drop things here, but they are a bit complex for Selenium to educate, right? We need to tell Selenium how to drag and drop. So there are different operations which we need to perform to do that complex user simulation, right? So that is what we'll try to understand in complex Selenium operations. Then we come with another topic called as cross-browser automation, right? So now cross-browser is an very important aspect of any test automation framework, which is when a software is built, it is built to run on multiple browsers. You cannot say it just runs on Chrome. Now, when it is built to run on all the browsers, you also need to test it. Now, to test it, you need to test the same link in Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox, Chrome, Firefox, Opera, and you also have to do on multiple platforms. For example, Linux, Mac, and Windows, right? So this is called as cross-browser and cross-platform automation techniques. And that is what we are going to learn in how to actually do that. And WebDriver supports all the major web browsers, but we need to educate our script. So, and we need to do some configurations inside so that we know exactly how to achieve this cross-browser automation in our test automation framework. Now, there is another thing called as we already discussed the complex Selenium operations. There's one more thing called as page object model. So that is what we're going to talk about as well, because in the way we write, the way we store this information inside the script, there are different ways of doing that. One of the most common ways is page object model, which we need to learn uh, in order to create a test automation framework. And you remember I already talked about in the beginning, the goal of all of this, why we are learning of all of this, is to create a test automation framework. Framework is something which actually sells. That is what we are learning these things. We need to ultimate goal of all this is so that you can generate, create, and understand a test automation framework. And these strategies, locator strategies, page object model, page factory, they are all a way, or you can say a specific component of a test automation framework, because test automation framework is not an atomic entity. It is divided into different components. So one of the component is page object model. Then you have next topic is screenshot capturing techniques. So how you're going to capture screenshots, because when you do it, when you test it, you can take the screenshot and keep it for evidence that you have tested it. Same capability you have to give to your test automation bot as well, so that when you run your test scripts, it captures the screenshots and save it for as an evidence, and so that you can actually validate whether whatever it has tested and what time it has tested, what was the state of the application when that script actually got executed. So you need to have these screenshot capturing mechanisms in your test automation framework. Then we have Selenium Grid concept. This is very useful for parallel execution, cross browser execution, cross platform execution. So it gives you mechanisms and very an ease of deployment for these three things. That is, I'll repeat again: parallel execution, so that you can get faster results. Uh, then cross browser, so that you can run your test cases on multiple browsers, and cross platform, so that you can run your test cases on different platforms, that is Mac, Windows, and Linux. Then you have to have a synchronization in Selenium, which is again a very complex thing to do. It looks simple, but there is complex use cases for it. So we'll look with the, I mean, we'll try to learn the basic synchronization mechanism, as well as the complex, how to implement synchronization in complex scenarios, complex use cases of test automation. Uh, Now, last and not the least, it's about automation framework development using Cucumber. Now, there is a framework which is already there. When I say test automation framework, I was talking about test automation framework. Now, test automation framework is a generic word. It doesn't mean that you have to create everything from scratch. The idea is there are already existing frameworks available, which you can use and understand and modify based on your specific requirements. You can build on top of it, right? It comes with lot of fundamental functionalities of their own, which you can make use of to create a more robust and efficient test automation framework. Now, Cucumber is such kind of framework which has become very popular in recent years, and almost all the companies, all the projects, if they are starting a new project, they want to go to Cucumber. Now, Cucumber is a tool, or again a library, which follows a development process called as behavior driven development, BDD, right? Now, BDD is a need of the hour. The whole idea of BDD is that you will write your requirements in a plain English format, and that format is what you're going to give to development team as well as your test team, so that they all are on the same requirement, right? Prior to BDD, there was, the way it used to work was, a client comes to the vendor, there will be business analyst will write their requirements in a document, and then that document they will give to development team, and the same document they will give to testing. But the problem with the document is it's highly technical. A lot of people don't understand it. If there is some changes in the document and it's not well communicated to the development team, the validation becomes difficult, right? But in the case of BDD, you're not creating just a document, you're creating a living document, which is, you're writing your requirements in a form of a plain given when then syntax, where it is very very lucid to understand in a very plain simple language called as user stories. And then those user stories or behavior, you pass it on to development team as well as to your test team. And all three people, or rather four, the client, the BA, the dev, and the test, they all are following the same source of truth called as the BDD document or a feature file. So I'm going to show you that feature file in a while as a part of this demo. But let me just quickly walk you through what we're going to do in that. So Cucumber, as I said, follows a BDD paradigm, and it has functionalities of its own, which we need to learn in order to adequately use it. So I'm going to talk about those features of Cucumber fundamentals, advantages of Cucumber, Gherkin syntax, how to write them, how to create step definitions, dependency injection, how to do that. There are some hooks called as before and after. We'll see how to do that. Then there are some mention of Maven here, and a lot of things are not mentioned in this document, but these will be part of the course, because without Maven, you will not be able to work on any Java projects. You need to have understanding of Maven, which I'm going to cover as a part in the part when we are going to talk about or when we're going to create our first project in Java. We are going to use Maven there. And then lastly, we are going to implement BDD framework using Cucumber. Now, this actually will be your project. So this automation framework development is not something which I will teach. Rather, I will ask you to do with my guidance. That is what we are going to do in the at the end of this curriculum. So at the end, you guys, I will be asking you guys to start creating this automation framework, and I'm going to tell you step by step process mechanisms on how you are going to create your own test automation framework, and which you can use as a project in your resumes. Because when you go to a company, they ask you, tell me about your experience, then you have to tell a valid experience of a creation or working on a test automation framework. And you don't have to lie if you have already done it, right? So I will be telling you guys how to do it in a step by step fashion. All right, now before I jump onto the actual demo, a demo of my test automation framework, and try to show you how to run it and all, do anyone has any questions to ask?
Hi Akash, Supriya here.
Hey, Supriya.
Hi. So I just wanted to know what all the tools we are going to cover. I mean, I have not heard the mention of the Jenkins, JMeter, and JUnit. So are we going to cover that tool as well as part of this learning?
All right. Okay, let me talk about it. So you asked, I have not mentioned Jenkins, I have not mentioned JUnit, and what else?
JMeter, JUnit. I mean, what all the tools we are going to cover? I mean, Marvin, I can understand somewhere it has mentioned, but haven't heard like JMeter, JUnit, Jenkins, the tools, automation tools.
Understood. Okay. So let me take the first one, the JUnit. Now JUnit is a framework, is a test framework which we will be using because Cucumber runs on JUnit. Okay. So the
Mhm.
frame what you're seeing right now on my screen is an example of a Cucumber framework, and it runs on JUnit. Okay. So we
Mhm.
definitely will be using JUnit first thing first. Second is JMeter. Now, JMeter is not an automation tool. It is a performance testing tool.
Okay.
Uh, this course which we are doing is an automation testing course, and these two things are their different skill set. Uh, JMeter is a area where we use it for performance testing of an application. It comes under non-functional aspect of a project.
Mhm. Yeah.
Test automation is a functional aspect of it tests the functional aspect. So there are two different things. So we are not going to talk about JMeter in this course at all. Maybe
Mhm.
just pointers I can give you. I also have experience on JMeter and HP load runner. I can give pointers if you need to have, but I will not be covering those the JMeter topic. Now,
Okay.
yeah. Now, lastly, about Jenkins. Now, Jenkins is a tool for DevOps, right? For running your CI/CD pipelines, right?
Mhm.
We will be talking about it for sure, but it will not be in a very detailed manner. We have to talk about CI/CD pipelines because test automation has a very essential part in a CI/CD pipelines. So we will be using something similar to that. Maybe I can show you. It might not be the Jenkins, but it is something similar to Jenkins. For example, Jenkins is just a tool for your CI/CD pipeline. Let me just show you.
Sorry, Akash. I don't know what is CICD. Can you please explain that?
Yeah, okay, understood. I'll explain that. Let me open a link as well for you guys where I keep my artifacts. Okay, give me a minute. All right. Now CI/CD is an essential part of any project, which is CI refers to continuous integration. Have you
Okay.
heard of continuous integration?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
This is continuous integration. So Jenkins is the tool which lets you wait. Let me open the link. Right. So CI and CD is a tool which let you you know uh, uh, from the inception, the moment someone checks in the code and the moment it comes to the deployment server, there's a complete it's called a CI pipeline. So it starts from the build process, unit test, deploy, automation test, deployment to production, and measure plus validate. That's a different story. But this
Mm-hmm.
flow which you see is a CI pipeline. And as you
Mm-hmm.
see, automation test is a very essential component of it, because without this, the CI doesn't get completed. So
Mm-hmm.
we will be talking. So Jenkins is not for test automation. Jenkins is to schedule, create this CI. So Jenkins is for development, release manager. I mean, these guys actually, or DevOps team actually make use of heavy use of Jenkins. But
Okay.
since we need to integrate our test automation as a part of Jenkins, that's the reason we need to learn it, but not in detail. Because as I said,
Mm-hmm.
Jenkins is all about DevOps. It's not about test automation. But Jenkins is a tool which we need to understand as a concept. CI we need to understand as a concept. Jenkins is just a tool to achieve that, or to make use of, or to implement that concept. So concept is CI/CD. Jenkins is just a tool. So what you're seeing in this repository is there is a different tool called as GitHub Actions, which does the same thing what Jenkins is doing. So we are going to learn something similar to this. So Jenkins as is not part of the curriculum, but CI is part of the curriculum. That's the whole and sole point I'm trying to make. So
Mm-hmm.
CI and CD you will have to learn and understand, not master it, but you still need to understand what that is.
Okay. So we are going to cover that GIT tool, right? Git. Uh,
Yes, because without this, that's kind of a given, because without that you can't do any code.
uh,
So this is
right.
this is a repository. It's on GitHub. We use Git for to do that. So Git definitely will be covered.
Mm-hmm. Because in our industry we are using the Jenkins to run the scripts offline. I mean, once we leave the office, then via the Jenkins tool, the scripts run automatically. We
Yes,
don't need to do any action.
I know.
So
Yes.
that's why the reason I'm asking if we are covering it as part of.
And that's why I'm telling you, Jenkins is, I'm telling you this because Jenkins is just a CI tool. You are using it for a very simple use case, just to schedule. So you are using
Mm-hmm.
it as a scheduler. It's
Right, right.
the job of Jenkins to just to schedule. But having
Mm-hmm.
said that, we can still look into it. But as I said, we will not be creating a complete from one point to another, a complete CI pipeline.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
It's very
understood.
simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I can show you how to schedule it, as simple as that.
Okay.
But that won't be our focus. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because I just don't want to have a false promises of that I will be telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll not.
Right, right.
Jenkins has Groovy script implementation also. We want to learn Groovy script? No, right? Jenkins
Mm-hmm.
is a vast tool. It's for DevOps. So I'll not be covering whole aspect of it. Only the
Mm.
specific where you can make use of it.
Okay, okay. Can you provide me the list of the tools we are going to cover in detail? Anybody, from your team, or you can provide me or email me
So I
the
just
tools.
I will
Mm-hmm.
write it down. I'll write the exact names of all the tools and technologies, because they all are not tools. For example, Maven is not a tool. It's just a way of doing things, right? So I'll write everything down in detail in the list,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
or maybe I'll send it to Ekta Anuradha. Then she can share it with you.
okay, okay. And also, as part of this learning, when we are going to start with the sessions, do we need to install all these tools, or it will be a central repository where we are going to log in and it will be available on the browser?
Uh,
How
you
is
have
it?
to do it here. You have to do it on your own systems, because this is, you see this IntelliJ or Eclipse. You have to install it because you're going to write your Java code. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to create a development environment in your own local system first. That's how things have to be. Because without this, you will not be able to write, because browser doesn't support all of this, which you need to, for example, Git check-in, check-out, Maven, your frameworks. You won't be able to do that. So you need to set up in your own system, which I will be telling you how to do it, which is not a very, it's not a rocket science. I think
Mm-hmm. But are these tools are the source of these tools are free, or how is it?
they're
Because
all open source. Yes,
free source. Okay,
they're all open source. License cost involved here.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Akash.
All right. Guys, what else? Any more questions?
Yeah, Manashwar.
Yeah, Dinesh, tell me.
We require the manual testing knowledge for the automation.
You don't require a very heavy manual testing knowledge, but you of course need to learn somewhat about testing, what testing is. So I promise to tell you all of that as a part of the course. But yeah, we'll not be doing like heavy ISTQB stuff, like all the testing concepts. We'll not do that. Just whatever is necessary for you to understand what we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I can give you pointers on because this course or any course for that matter is not dependent on what I am teaching you. It's more dependent on how much you are reading and doing on your own. I can give you pointers to for the documents which you need to read. So testing is, as I said, is not an essential or must have, but you of course need to have basic understanding of it, which I anyway will be giving to you. Depending on how much you already know, your retention could be higher, or you might have to do some more pre-reading as well.
No, no, basic will be fine. But if, in case if moving to the manual automation testing, I thought that manual automation would be the
No, manual is not essential. That's what I'm telling you. Manual is not essential, but testing basics is required.
okay. Okay, fine.
And Akash, we are going to cover all this learning in 3 months of duration, right?
Yeah,
Or 2 months.
yeah. It's around 2.5 months, but it actually extends to three also. It depends. I mean, it depends on the core. It depends on the on your speed. I can do it in 1 month also, right? But I have to
Mm-hmm.
see how much you guys are getting it. So
Okay.
it depends on that. But more or less, any kind of learning usually happens takes at least two months, minimum 2 months, 2.5 months, not less than that. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Based
And all of these topics would be covered by yourself, or there will be other trainers as well
there
who
could be
will.
yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I missed that.
there could be other trainers. I will be leading it. I will be
Hmm.
creating course content. I will be delivering lot of sessions, but there could be other trainers as well.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? I'll give you 3-4 more minutes to think and ask. It's fine. If you have anything, it's about time, right time to ask. Yeah.
Hi, Akash, Naneshwar.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct.
basically, I don't have experience in testing, basically. So I'm working as a business analyst from last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just I want to move to the testing. So basically, I did the automation, like writing the script. That's it. Not regarding to the testing, but a normal script using Selenium and all that. So I wanted to move to the automation, and she was a 2 year of experience as a tester, basically.
Yes, so
So
I think it's you are at a right spot. I mean, BA in lot of projects, BA is also supposed to be testing it, and BA is supposed to be testing because that's the job of BA to validate whether the requirements are met or successfully implemented or not, right? Isn't it? So you
yeah,
are well placed. Uh, Only thing you have to worry about is not the manual testing. You have to worry about, if you really want to worry about, is the technical skills, which is learning Java. Because if you learn Java, things will be very, very simple for you. It's not Selenium, which takes a lot of time for people. It's Java. So we have to understand how Java works and what are the Java programs. And because in the beginning, we are going to work on Java basics also, so we need to learn all of that. Once you understand Java, rest of the things just will just follow.
okay.
Yeah.
And Akash, are we going to cover anything related to the mobile automation testing?
No. So this is purely UI automation course. There's not going to be any mobile automation because that's again a separate field.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Right.
would require a separate time window.
Okay.
Yeah.
This comes under the web-based application. I mean,
Yes, yes,
testing.
yes. This is comes. I mean, this you see what I have written here, right? This is Cucumber framework. It has nothing to do with the web or mobile. It will just works just the same. So we are not learning just one thing here. We're learning multiple things, and a lot of things which you're going to learn is you can apply it on other places. For example, mobile automation also you can use the same Cucumber software, same Cucumber framework. Just the underlying working of it will be a bit different. That's it. The way you are interacting with mobile, the way you are finding the apps in the mobile, only that is going to change. Rest of the things will just remain same. So once you learn Java, once you learn Cucumber, once you learn automation, once you learn that, then learning mobile automation is going to be very simple, because there's nothing much to learn there. Only thing which is will be required to learn is how to interact. Rest all of the things which is required, like for example Java and framework and all those things, you will already would have learned as a part of web automation. Yeah, so original question, answer to original question, mobile automation will not be covered as a part of this curriculum.
Okay. Thank you, Akash.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Maybe I'll just show the one, because this is part of the today's demo. I'll just show you to how to run this. So what you see here is a representation of a test case. This is written in Cucumber framework, and I am trying to automate Amazon.in website just for sample here. So what you see here, I mean, right now it's running. You will see that it's running. It's doing the operations, searching for a product, clicking on a specific button, and things like that. And the backend, we are making use of this Cucumber framework, which in where you can write your requirements not in a document but in a Gherkin syntax called as feature files, and that's where you write your test case. And all the steps which you see here is executable. They're just not text. So if you go inside them, you will see an associated method inside. That's where all the code is written. This all is Selenium code organized in a proper structure. This is a page object model file which I was talking about earlier, and these are Selenium methods and classes which I'm making use of to perform operations. So this is something similar to that is what we're going to develop as a part of our project inside this curriculum. All right, guys. Any questions in this specifically? Or
So, so, so we are just not writing and when then script, right? I mean, we are writing the functions behind it as well, right?
yes,
The,
you
the
have
the example what.
Yes, you have to, because this won't execute in itself. You have to first write these, then you have to create these methods, then you have to create these classes. So what you see here, right? You
Mhm.
have to write all of this, because I have written all of this.
Okay.
I have written all of this 6 months back. I have to write
Mhm.
same thing you have to do, because without this you will not be able to. And you can see this framework. I have also put this framework online. You can actually go and have a look at this inside here. Here you will also find all the documentation about this framework, how step by step how you're going to do that, how step by step you will be creating this framework one after another is what you're going to see here. These are the topics which are covered as part of this. You see, Jenkins also was part of it, but later I did it with GitHub Actions for CI, not with Jenkins. But Jenkins is easily integratable. There is it's not rocket science. It's simple,
Mhm.
right? So maybe you can go through this link to see what's there. What I'm telling you here is exactly present here. This is a clone of the same repository, same GitHub repository I'm using here. Right, so this is what will be your end product. This is something similar to that is what you're going to create, and you have to target for, I will be telling you around 10 to 15 test cases, how to create these 10 automate 10 to 16 test cases. Rest you all have to create on your own by making use of the framework. That will become a part of your practice. The more you create, the better you will become in your test automation skills. So any more questions, guys? Okay, if not, then let's do one more thing, one last thing. I recall, Supriya, you wanted some topics. Instead of waiting for later, I'll just write it here so that you know. Okay, so we are going to
Mm-hmm.
do Java, we are going to do JUnit, we are going to do Maven, then Cucumber, Git, Jenkins or CI, or maybe Actions, GitHub Actions. Okay, then I think maybe something to do with Sonar Cube also, because that always is a part of my framework. So I'll of course will be telling you that. I think this is it. I think more or less this is it. In between, of course, there are a lot of things. For example, concepts, right? For example, in Cucumber, we have concepts of hooks, before and after hooks, and we have concept of dependency injection. So these will be part of anyway, will be part of the uh, create. So, but more or less, in generally speaking, Java, JUnit, Cucumber framework, Maven, Git, and Jenkins and SonarQube is basically, these are a tool set which you would need to create a working framework.
Okay. But Akash, you said will not be going to cover in detail Jenkins, right?
Yeah, Jenkins, as I said, Jenkins is not a tool for automation. That's
Okay.
what I'm trying to explain here. It's not a tool for automation. It is, you are using it as a scheduler, which
Mm-hmm. Right.
because you can have window scheduler to schedule your test automation script. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Jenkins, I will tell you how to schedule, how to create jobs, but not how to create end-to-end CI pipelines. That
Okay.
I will
Okay.
not cover, because it doesn't comes under the purview of test automation. I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
how to make use of Jenkins. It's not difficult. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing to do. Yeah.
Okay. That will be enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as part of the industry project which we are going to cover, uh, what will be the duration of that? I mean, after completing 3 months of course, then are we going to start with the industry project, or it is included in a 3 months of course?
We will start as soon as possible. So it's, we are not going to wait for framework creation or project creation end of the course. We'll just start doing it in the within 2 months of the course. Once you're done with your basics, we'll start
Mm-hmm.
the framework development. And the framework which you're going to
Okay.
develop is can be reusable. The way we were going to develop is it could be reusable for different platforms, not platform, different kind of applications. So you can make use of it in different environment and different kind of applications or different kind of web application, varying different domains. Because the skeleton will remain the same, only the scripts, little bit of code to interact will change. So this will be the practice project which I'm going to tell you. Maybe we'll choose a specific website for the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can make use of the same framework for your projects if you're working somewhere. If you want to have a real time exposure, then I'll have to see your skills, how much you have learned, and then maybe I can provide you some real time, but that's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed. I can provide you some real time exposure, but depending on how much you have really learned and how much you have actually able to perform, based on how much you are doing in your practice project, based on that, if you there's any need for any specific person, then I can provide some real time exposure, but again, not guaranteed as a part of this project, this curriculum.
Okay. And as this is a weekend program, are you going to provide us, I mean, the assignment every week so that we can do a hands-on in a particular week?
Yes, that's definitely is going to be there, without which you guys will not learn. Because I told you, right, me giving less lectures is not going to help you at all. You have to,
Mm-hmm.
because there is one important question which everyone asks and somehow you didn't ask. That is how much time I have to give, right? Because that defines how much you're going to learn in these 3 months. Not attending my lectures. So you have to spend at least 20 hours per week,
Okay.
you around 4 hours or 3 to 4 hours per day. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this much you have to spend if you want to do this in 3 months. Else you can't do this in 3 months. 25 hours is the minimum I'm talking about, not the maximum. The minimum I'm talking about, 25 hours is what you have to find to give to this project. If you want to do this in 2 to 3 hours, so sorry, 2 to 3 months.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And also while doing the hands-on in particular week, also can we reach out to you? And because the classes are scheduled at the weekend only, so do we have to wait to get our answers from you or from the trainer at the weekend only, or can we reach out to
Yeah,
them?
these kind of WhatsApp groups, you can really ask, just post your problem. See the, for example, this is someone raised, I'm getting this error. So you'll get
Mhm.
the solution as immediately.
Okay. Okay.
It's small enough. If it's a big issue which we can't solve, then maybe sometime. But yeah, we provide, you'll give you all the support which we can. Then you can raise your queries. So we encourage people to ask questions on our forums basically. So you have to come here and ask your questions, and we will reply.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. All right. What else, guys? Anything else? Okay, so whoever is has joined the session late, for them I have recorded this session, and I will be giving you guys a link, a YouTube link for it, so that you can watch it if you have missed any part of it. Okay, guys, I think we are running. I think we have reached the end of today's session. If there is still some questions which you need to ask, raise it with Ekta. She will help you. You can also reach me out on my number. If you want to talk to me personally, you can call me on my number. Ekta will share it with you, but bear in mind, I'm only available on WhatsApp calls. So if you want to talk, first ping me, and then